Good morning, children. Today our topic is garbage. What is garbage? Garbage is the waste that is produced in our house. So every day we use so many things just for cooking or for eating. We buy so many things from the market. You buy chips, you buy chocolates, biscuits. So how are they sold? They are sold in packets. So you bring them home, you will open the packet, you finish them off, then you will throw the cover outside. Outside in the sense you will throw in the dustbin. So just see from the morning till evening what items your dustbin collects. So the items that are collected in your dustbin are garbage. So let us make a list of the things that we throw every day. Covers. What are the covers? Food covers. So many packets you buy from the market. So all these covers and carry bags. When you buy something in the market, they'll keep the things in a polythene bag, hand carry bag. It's a polythene bag. So that is also garbage. Carry bags. So I will write it as food covers. And what else you get? You get fruits from the market. So after you bring the fruits home, your mother will cut them. But before cutting, she will peel off the skin. So fruit peels. That is also garbage. And what else? Vegetable. Vegetable skins or peels or skin. And leftover food. And what else? You will be doing your homework. After coming back from school, you may be doing your homework. So while doing your homework, if you write something wrong in a paper, you will tear the papers, and you will mend your pencil. Sometimes you see your smaller brother, just for fun, he is mending the whole pencil. Pencil dust. Paper dust. So the waste that is collected in your pencil box, all that. And what else? Right? So your father may be using some papers in his files. Whatever the papers are not necessary. So unused checks, unused papers and statements and documents, he may be trashing them. So papers or files. You might be playing with toys. If some of the toys are broken, what do you do with the broken toys? Just you will throw them out in the garbage bin. Toys. What I mean is broken toys. Any torn cloth. Clothes if they are torn. Bed sheets if they are torn. You will throw the rags pieces, cloth pieces in the garbage. If the cells of your wall clock or remote, battery, if the cells are used up, you will throw them in the garbage bin. See how many things that are coming to your dustbin. So here is your dustbin. This is the trash. So just you open the dustbin and see what are the various items that you are throwing. This is only a part of this. You may be creating more than this in your house. Just see that, just make a list. Better you do it on Sunday. Sunday you will be staying in the home all the day. Right from the morning you take a paper. Just you note down what sort of waste is being produced. Your mother will make tea. After the tea is boiled, the tea dust is thrown in the garbage bin. Leftover food is thrown in the garbage bin. Fruits waste, vegetable waste, all this waste is thrown in the garbage bin. So you may be bringing some green vegetables, you will cut the leaves and remaining parts are thrown out. So likewise plenty of garbage is created, that is produced in our houses. So we will keep all the garbage in the trash dustbin. So what happens to the dustbin? The next day morning, You will find the Safai Karmacharis, they come with a whistle, they blow the whistle, they will ask you to get the basket, dustbin. You will give the dustbin to them, they will keep the dust in the garbage truck or the small vehicle that they are carrying the garbage. They will put the trash in the garbage bin and they will give you the trash bag, your bin bag. You will get your bin. So now your bin is empty. You are filling the dust again. You are filling the garbage again for the second day. So what that person is doing? He is carrying the garbage in the truck. Where he is carrying? What do he do with the garbage? So he will take away the garbage to a place called as landfill. So we learned what is a landfill. So landfill is a place to where the garbage is transported, is taken. So let us write it here. Here I am drawing it again. The trash bin, this is the trash. So that is the trash bin of your home. The garbage bin. So it is taken to the garbage truck. So this is the garbage truck. So now the garbage truck is carrying the garbage. This is from the houses. So from the houses, the garbage bin, we throw the dust into the garbage bin, the trash bin, it is given to the garbage truck. Now the garbage truck is carrying the garbage to where? It's carrying the garbage to a place, a low-lying area called as landfill. So all the trash is dumped over here. All the trash is dumped over here. So they will select some place. So where there are no houses, there is no residential area. So they will select such a place which is a low-lying area. So they will carry all the garbage in the trucks to that particular area. They will dump all the garbage over there. And once the low-lying area is completely filled, they will put a layer of soil and they will cover it. So this is the low-lying area. This is the, you can see that this is the land level and this is the low-lying area. Here they will dump all the garbage. So once it is completely piled up or filled, it is covered by a layer of soil. So now above this area, this landfill area is not used for the construction of houses. It is not advisable because the soil is not strong enough to hold the basement of the houses, and it's not suitable for the residential area. This area is allotted to make or to build some park for a span of 20 years. So for a span of 20 years, this particular landfill should not be used for construction of houses or any other purpose. It should be left like that. In the meantime, whatever the garbage is buried under that, it get decomposed, right? So that area, it will be used for some park or something like, right? So that is called as a landfill. So when there is a landfill, where there is a landfill, near to the landfill, we can find some kind of people and some kind of factory setups which work on the garbage. So what is that? They will separate the useful junk. Useful junk, that means recyclable materials are separated from the garbage. Recyclable materials, there are so many materials which can be recycled. So they will separate the recyclable, reusable materials from the garbage. So the recycling units are established around the landfill. So it is very close. They will get all the recyclable materials from the landfill and they will make it useful. So by that we can reduce the land pollution, we can reduce the soil pollution. So around a landfill, what sort of establishments will come? Recycling units will come. The recycling units, they will take the useful components from the garbage. Some components of the garbage are not useful. They are left like that. They are covered by a layer of soil, and it is let it allowed to decompose and mix with the soil completely for a tenure of 20 years, say more than 20 years. So by that it gets decomposed. So for this duration, it should not be used for construction of houses or anything else there. Once one landfill is completed, the people will search for one more low-lying area that will be selected as a landfill. But the landfills are very fast filling these days because the amount of garbage produced in our house is increasing day by day. Right. You see that in 1990, if you go to a grocery shop, you will get the grocery items packed in newspapers. So newspaper is not a polluting material, not like plastic. But if you see that before this we have written the different items that are produced in our house, the garbage. In that we have written the plastic covers, carry bags, all these are made of plastic. The garbage that consists of plastic items is non-decomposable. It does not mix with the soil. It's a problematic one. Right. So in earlier days, in 1990s, you see the grocery items were packed in newspapers. Now they are packed in polythene papers, plastic covers. You go to market, you buy anything that is packed in plastic cover. But plastic, it cannot be decomposed easily. It is a problem to the soil. It does not get mixed up with the soil easily. It creates so many kind of problems. Right. So the plastic is getting accumulated everywhere. That is in the sea, in the river, in the soil, everywhere plastic items are getting accumulated. It's because of that, because they do not decompose. They do not mix up with the soil as like paper or other waste. If you see the waste like fruit waste, fruit peels, vegetable peels, leftover foods, cloth, these kind of items will decompose. They get mixed up with the soil easily. But whereas the items like plastic and metal cans, they do not get mixed up with the soil quickly. So here we understood how the garbage is disposed, right? That is from our houses to the garbage truck, from the garbage truck to the landfill. So this is the way. So if you see the list of items that are found in the garbage, we can categorize them into two categories. One is decomposable garbage and non-decomposable garbage. Right? Here for a more appropriation, we write it as non-biodegradable. Okay, we write it as non-biodegradable. We write it as biodegradable. Anything we can just use it for a sense. I'll explain you. Decomposable. Decomposing in the sense, what is the meaning of decomposing? So there is a device. So there is a motorbike. A motorbike is fixed with different items, wheels, silencer, handle, tank, seat, like that. So when all these parts are clubbed together, you call it as a bike. If you separate the parts, then what do you say? It is a decomposing. When you are composing different parts, you make one object. When you are separating the parts, it is called decomposing. Every object is made by different components, by different substances. If you separate the substances again, you call it as decomposition. For example, certain materials, if you bury in the soil, after a few days, they get mixed up with the soil. You know, items are made up of, matter is made up of molecules. A paper is made up of molecules, but it is in the form of a paper, right? All molecules are joined together. It is composed to a paper. If you keep the paper in soil for 10 days, 15 days, if you bury and see, no paper. The paper is decomposed to its elements. Likewise, certain materials can be decomposed by nature, by microorganisms in the soil. Certain materials cannot be decomposed. So we are categorizing the garbage, the materials into two on basing this particular characteristic. biodegradable or decomposable. So what comes under this? Paper, fruits and vegetables, food, leftover food, cloth, oils, etc. All these items are decomposable. Non-biodegradable or non-decomposable: plastic, glass, metals. These are non-biodegradable. If you bury the plastic and if you see after 1 month, you will find the plastic bag again. It is not decomposed. If you bury a metal can, after 2 months or 3 months, you can get the metal can back. If you bury a glass piece, after a few months, you can find it back. It is not easily mixed up with the soil because microorganisms, they cannot work on these materials. They cannot decompose them. They cannot break them into simple things. But whereas these items, paper, fruits, vegetable, food, dead bodies of plants and animals, dead bodies are buried in the soil, they are decomposed in few months, right? So the garbage can be categorized like this, right? So decomposable or biodegradable, non-biodegradable. What do we do by categorization? We can do one thing. These items, plastic, glass and metals, if they are thrown in the landfills or if they are buried in the soil, it will take thousands of years to get mixed up with the soil. Thousands of years. Only because of the heat and pressure of the soil and land, they will be converting into that elemental form. Otherwise, they will be in the same form. They cause soil pollution. So these items can be recycled. Say for example, you have brought one Coke in a tin. You drank the Coke and after that, instead of throwing the can in the trash bin, in the garbage bin, you can put it separate and you can sell it for the people who buy the trash. Metal and plastic items will be bought by some people to recycle them. Otherwise, in cities, they give 2 types of trash bins to every house. One is blue, the other is green. So the green one is for biodegradable, bio. In this you can put the fruit waste, vegetable waste, leftover foods which can be degraded, you can put in this. Whereas in the blue one, you can put these kind of items, plastic, glass, metals and all. So in cities, there is a system to collect the degradable and non-degradable waste separately. So by that, these degradable waste are not thrown in the garbage, they are treated for recycling. So by that we can reduce the environmental pollution. So we will be contributing. And if this garbage is buried in a landfill, there is no issue. In a very few days, it will turn it into a compost. You can do this at home. If you have a garden and if you have some free space, then you can perform the activity. You can make some 2 pits, at least 2 pits A and B. So in pit A, you can put these kind of materials like paper, fruit, vegetable, cloth, oil and seeds. In pit B, you can put these materials like plastic, glass and metals and you bury it. And after 2 months, you open it, or after 1 month or 3 months of your choice. You see here, in this case, you cannot find the paper, fruits, vegetables after 3 months. They are mixed up with the soil. Now the soil will be giving you a specific smell. What does it indicate? The soil is turned to a compost. You can use this compost as a nutrient for the plants. If you put this compost to the plants, they grow so healthy. It can be used as a manure, organic manure. Whereas in case of B, you will find all of them still there. They are not mixed with soil. So by this activity, you can understand certain materials will decompose, degrade and mix up with the soil. Certain materials will not do that. So we need to be very careful while disposing or throwing these kind of items in the garbage. What are they? Plastic, glass, metals which do not decompose. Now let's see about vermicompost. So I told you that when the waste like vegetable and fruit waste is thrown into a pit, if it is buried in soil, after some time it turns to manure. The manure can be used for plants. It's an waste, but it is turned to useful material which can be used for the growth of plants. So that is called as compost. Then what is this vermicompost? So we discussed about compost. Compost is the organic decaying matter useful for the growth of plant. But what is this vermicompost? What does this vermi means? Worms. We can make some compost which is very good for the plant growth with the help of worms. What worms they are? Red worms. So red worms are seen in rainy season. They live in the burrows. During the rainy season, because of the rain water, the burrows will be filled up with water. That time these red worms come out of that burrows. You can see them. They are very slippery, red in color, thin worms. With the help of these worms, we can make vermicompost. So vermicompost is very nutritious for plant growth. Let us see how to do this. So to make the vermicompost, you need to dig a pit. You need to dig a pit, or you can take a wooden box of your choice around 30 centimeter. You can take a wooden box. So in the wooden box, at the bottom you have to keep a net. First thing is keep a net or sand. Some 2 to 3 centimeter. You can put some sand or a net at the bottom. So after keeping this, you have to put the vegetables and fruit peels. Vegetable and fruit peels. Fruit waste. Right? You can keep some cardboard pieces and other kind of waste, tea leaf dust, such kind of waste you can keep it here. Leaves, grass, dried leaves, husk or hay, dried grass, dried dung of animal. So such items can be kept here. Right? So now you have to sprinkle some water. See that you do not put much water. Sprinkle some water. So you have prepared a bed for the worms. The worms, they live in this and they feed on this. So you have to collect some red worms. These red worms are to be kept here. Now cover this box with a gunny bag, so by that it will keep the box cool. Earthworms are the worms that live in place where it is not very cold or not very hot. So the box, it should be in a shady place. It should not be too hot nor too cold. Such kind of arrangement has to be done. And they should not be disturbed. Just to sprinkle some water. So day by day, you can add up some waste. What waste? You can bring some fruit peels or vegetable peels, only such waste. So you should not throw leftover food with oils, spices, meat, colors, vinegar, because if you buy the food from restaurant, they will give the food with all these things: oil, spices, meat, colors, vinegar. If such kind of food is kept, it leads to the growth of microorganisms. So your pit will be totally destroyed. Do not put such kind of waste. Only fruit and vegetable waste or tea leaves dust, such kind of materials are to be kept. Not spices, oils, pickles. These kind of materials should not be kept in the pit. So you feed the pit with these items. You feed the worms and keep it there for few days. What happens? The worms, they feed on this waste what you are keeping, the fruit and vegetable waste, and they make it into a compost called as vermicompost. So the earthworms, they don't have teeth. The earthworms, they have a part called as gizzard, by which they will grind the food. So it is always better to add some powder of eggshells. If you add some powder of eggshells, this powder, it helps in better digestion. So the earthworms, they grow in number. They make all this waste into compost. After some time, after a few days, you can put the food only to the corner. So in this corner you have kept the food. You left this area without food for 1 or 2 days. All the earthworms, they move towards this area because the food is available here. So that time you can collect the waste, you collect the compost from this part. So from this area you can take the compost, and this compost is very, very nutritious and good source of minerals for your plants. You can apply it for the plants. So whatever is collected, it is very damp, and you can put it in sunlight for 1 day. You can dry it. So the dried vermicompost can be applied to the plants in your house, whatever the plants you are growing in the pots. So this is how vermicompost can be made. Farmers are making this vermicompost on a large scale. The government, the agricultural department people are giving training to the farmers. So the government, with the help of NABARD, it is issuing some loans and funds to the farmers, those who are interested to grow this vermicompost. It's allotting some money to make some sheds, because they cannot do it under sun. They need some place which is covered. Some sheds, under the sheds they will make the pits, and even the government is supplying the earthworm seed. So the earthworms are grown. Once the earthworms are grown in one pit, they grow in number. You can share. The farmers can share among themselves to grow the earthworms and to get the vermicompost. It is a very best natural source of minerals to the plant. Artificial fertilizers, if they are used, they are not good for the plant. Either they are not good for the consumer also, and they are very costly. But vermicompost can be produced at very low cost, and it is very good for the growth of plant, and it does not cause any harm to the people who consume the food product. Think and throw. We are throwing waste as we like. We produce a lot of waste. What do we do with the waste? Just we throw it off. But here the thing is, think and throw. What to be thought? What we should think? We should think that before we throw the waste, can we make use of the waste again, which is called as reuse. Reuse. Many of the materials, we can reuse them, right? Say for example, you have purchased something in a bottle. You used that item, now the empty bottle is left. Instead of throwing this empty bottle in the trash bin, you can use the empty bottle for some other purpose. Or you can make a beautiful decorative item with the waste bottle. So that's where you show your creativity, right? So many people, they do not spend any time or their ideas or creativity in doing such things. Simply they throw it away. And moreover, in the sake of their creativity, they create lot of trash. You see some children, they are making fun with papers. They tear papers from the books and they make so many things. They make paper plane, they make origami, different animals and different shapes with the paper. So that is the having fun with paper. It's okay, it's allowed as creativity. But just on the name of creativity, you cannot produce the waste. You cannot produce the dust and trash. Instead, you can use your creativity to make the waste into some art forms. You might have seen people making recycled paper, and from the bits of waste newspaper, it can be made into a pulp and you can make a handmade paper. You can make certain items, little baskets and little containers with the help of paper pulp, right? You might be, you may not know the technique how to make the paper pulp and paper items with the paper pulp. You can ask your grandmother or grandfather. They might be knowing that how to do that. So they will soak the waste paper in water, they will add some methi and they will grind it into a paste, and that paste is used to make certain baskets and all. So likewise, we can make use of waste paper and waste metal cans, waste tires, the old cloth, all these can be made into something which is useful. That means we can put it in reuse, right? So let me give you some ideas over here. Here is a can, a soft drink can. After drinking that, you may throw this can in the trash. Instead, you can cut it and you can use this can as your pen stand, or you can put some rubber bands in that. So likewise, you can convert the waste items into useful items. Let us see how to recycle a paper. You can make a handmade paper. I already told you that certain items cannot be thrown in the dust. They can be used to make some useful things. So here, if you have paper bits from newspaper and magazines and old notebooks. So if you have all this paper, you can cut the paper into pieces. So all these paper pieces, they are kept in a tub. Tub with water. So all these paper pieces are kept here in the water. So the paper pieces are allowed to soak for 1 day. So the paper pieces are soaked very well. Now grind them into paste or pound them into paste. Grind to paste. So you made the paper paste. So what you are going to do with the paper paste? Now you are taking a frame with a mesh. You are taking a wooden frame with a mesh or a sieve. So on that sieve you are applying the paste. You are applying the paste, right? So you are applying and pressing it and keeping this in the sun. So what happens? The paste, it will be sticking and it will be made into a layer. So you have applied the paste like a layer. So before you apply the paste, you can add some food color or any dried leaves, or dried petals into this paste. So the paste can be applied onto the sieve as a layer. So here on the frame you have got a layer of paper which is wet. So after some time the water will dry up. Carefully take out the layer with patterns. So the layer has got beautiful colors and patterns. How it got colors and patterns? Because you have added some food color, dried leaves, dried petals and all. So that layer you kept it on a newspaper, you kept it in the sun. You kept some weights on the corner, so by that it get not blown away by the wind. So after some time all the water is absorbed by the newspaper and it is evaporated and it becomes like a thin cardboard, like a chart with colorful patterns. That is all your recycled paper, recycled chart that you have made on your own. So it's a beautiful thing which you can cut into different shapes and you can make any craft item with the handmade paper. So this is how you can make a handmade paper. So with the handmade paper you can make handmade paper bags to carry the things, to gift something to somebody. You can wrap it around the gift and you can give. So you can do so many things with the paper that you have made on your own. So plastics, a boon or a curse? So far we are discussing about different material. We have seen how to make a paper. Paper can be recycled. And even though the paper is thrown, it is decomposable, it mixes with the soil. But whereas with the plastic, it is a problem. Plastic cannot decompose easily. It takes thousands of years to get mixed up with the soil. So we should be very careful in handling plastic. Plastic, it plays a major role in our life today. Whatsoever the item you purchase, it will be made of plastic or at least some parts of it are made out of plastic. You buy a car, you buy a bike, you buy a computer, you buy a laptop, mobile phone, kitchenware, furniture, your bed, whatsoever you buy, you will be finding certain parts of it are made out of plastic. Many of the things are completely made of plastic, right? So we cannot avoid plastic. But the thing is that there are certain things to be taken proper care, otherwise plastic, it's causing a very big problem, a nuisance. See, first thing is proper disposal of plastic is very, very important. Plastic cannot be thrown in the garbage. It should be disposed for recycle. Plastics, they are of different types. Depending upon the type, it will be graded and recycled by the people who recycle it. So when you throw the dust, it should be kept separately. At least you should sell it to the recycling centers. Otherwise, certain people will be coming to your houses to buy the old plastic and metal. So you can sell to them not for the profit, for the sake of environment. So they will take it for the recycling. Improper disposal of plastic items is a very big problem. People are not aware of it. Even though we know that, we don't do it, we don't take the responsibility because no one is questioning us. No one is putting a fine on us, just we will throw that. For every item we buy the item and we want a carry bag, polythene cover. So likewise from market you bring 10 to 20 covers a day. See that in 30 days how many covers you are bringing. Hundreds of carry bags you are bringing home and throwing all of them in the garbage. Right? So plastic can be used extensively, but it should be properly disposed. Otherwise, it causes so many environmental problems. Second thing is packing food items. It is not very safe to pack the food items in all kinds of plastic. So there is a special kind of plastic which is meant for suitable for packing the food items. But when you buy some food items outside, they may be putting in some cover. You may be buying some food item at a restaurant or a curry point. There they will put the items in a plastic cover. But you don't know whether the plastic is suitable to the food item or not. Sometimes very hot food items are packed in plastic. So this hot food item may react with the plastic in the container. So the plastic, it may be going to the food, you may be eating and you may be suffering with diseases. So food grade plastic is to be used to store the food, and there also proper temperature has to be maintained. You cannot put hot items, you cannot pack hot items in the plastic bags, right? So the suitable food grade plastic and virgin plastic should be used to pack the food, but that is not followed everywhere. Who is checking that? So food packing is a major issue. So when the food is packed in plastic, so these things must be taken care. And third thing is the plastic waste, when it is collected a lot, so they start burning it sometimes. It is very hard to dispose that, very difficult. So in such cases they are putting fire, right, which is not at all advisable. It releases a lot of toxic gases into the atmosphere when plastic is burnt. It pollutes the air a lot of damage happens to the environment. So plastic should not be burnt at any cost. Another problem with the plastic is choking of drains. The plastic rags, plastic covers, plastic bottles, plastic items are thrown in the drainages. So as they are carrying, and at some points they choke the canals and drainages, the water will be overflowing. You see that many of the people throwing their plastic items in the beaches, all this is collected in the sea. Many of the seas are polluted by plastic items. So many of the sea animals are eating the plastic items and they are dying because of the pollution, water pollution by plastic. Even soil. Many of the water bodies are polluted because we are throwing it. It's such an ignorance and such a nonsensical thing that people are doing. How irresponsible the people are behaving. Most of the people, they know that the plastic should not be thrown like that. It's not because of the illiteracy. Because due to the advancement in technology, people are aware of so many things. How to use a smartphone, everybody know that. But we don't know basic thing that the plastic should not be thrown in the dust or garbage. It should be recycled. So every citizen must be responsible. You can enjoy the benefits of plastic, at the same time you should be responsible while disposing it properly. And finally, it causes all kind of pollution. If plastic is burnt, it causes air pollution. If plastic is thrown in water, water pollution. If it is thrown in the garbage and a landfill, soil pollution. It can cause any kind of pollution, right? So the care should be taken while using the plastic. So now let's see the different points that help us in the right way of dealing with garbage. First, you see that you put your efforts in reducing the garbage, right? So what are the right ways of dealing with that? First thing is minimum use of plastic. The usage of plastic should be reduced. Do not buy and carry the things in carry bags. Carry your own cloth bag so you can keep all the things in that. So you will be contributing for that. Uses of paper or cloth bags. Better use paper bags or cloth bags instead of plastic. No plastic for food. Never ever store the food items in plastic covers because you do not know the grade of the plastic, what sort of plastic it is. So it may cause so many health problems. So never keep the food items in plastic bags. Better you keep them in metal containers or earthenware, which is safe for the food storage. And next, proper disposal. Plastic should be properly disposed. Always keep the plastic separate from other garbage. Either you sell it to a scrap vendor who buy the scrap. Otherwise, the garbage people, they take the dry plastic kind of waste separately. You give them it separately. No burning of plastic. Plastic should not be burnt. It produces toxic gases which may cause diseases like cancer and they are very dangerous, right? So never ever burn plastic waste. It should be properly disposed. It should be recycled. Use vermicompost. You encourage the usage of vermicompost instead of fertilizers. So by that, the waste, the garbage, decomposable waste can be properly utilized. Recycling paper. You encourage recycling paper. You buy recycled paper. So by that, the paper is not wasted. So you are saving the paper in the sense you are saving the trees and you are contributing for a good environment. And judicious use of paper. See, you have a paper in your hand. So if you don't know the use of the paper, say just you think it is a waste paper, just don't throw it. You can use the paper. You can save it. You can write it on the paper. If you write one side of the paper, the other side also can be used. You see many of the children, they will open their book, they write on one side of the paper, just they throw the paper out. The second side can be used. Right. Better you write small letters. So by that more work can be done. If you have a rough work, do not use so many papers. Just you take a slate where you can write and rub it. You can use a slate for rough work. So judicious use. It's very, very important. Somebody may laugh at you. Why are you writing like that? Why are you writing so many answers in one paper? That means you are saving the paper. You are contributing your efforts. You are putting efforts to save the earth from the hazards of environment, issues of environment. So that is the judicious use of paper. Reuse of things. You can put your creativity on. You can make so many useful, wonderful things with the waste that you find around. It's no matter like buying a new thing. For example, you have a broken bucket in your house. It's broken. You can use the broken bucket. You can make it as a flower pot. You can put some mud and you can grow a plant. Somebody may tell you, why are you using that bucket? You can go and get a plastic flower pot. You can buy it, which looks good. Why this bucket is used? Right? So here you take the option of using the bucket. You are reusing it. You are contributing for the welfare of the earth. You are not using another plastic tub. That means you are not taking the share of making one plastic tub. You are using the bucket again. Right. So many of the plastic items can be reused. They have a very good durability. They work for years. You need not throw them. If you have 2-liter water bottles, you can cut and you can grow some plants. You can grow plants in the 2-liter water bottle at least some 5 to 10 years. See that. See all the possibilities. Look for all the possibilities in which we can reuse the items. So we will save a lot, we will contribute a lot. You yourself contribute your part for a sustainable environment.